The image of Mary on the building down in Clearwater?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen that? Image of Mary. It was remarkable, actually, covering the entire side of a building that formed over a period of months. And then some little dweeb came along and threw some graffiti on it, and remarkably, it cleaned itself up, and the image came clear once again. Quite a remarkable story.
Call Art Bell toll-free, west of the Rockies at 1-800-618-8255. 1-800-618-8255. East of the Rockies at 1-800-825-5033. 1-800-825-5033. This is the CBC Radio Network.
It sure is. Good morning, everybody. Robert Anton Wilson is here. We'll get right back to him. Robert, maybe you'd care to comment, or you wouldn't, on contemporary U.S. politics and our president. I've sort of ceased talking a lot about politics because I've perceived that a lot of what even most of what they're talking about, if not all, is not relevant to our lives anymore. That not too many people give a damn how Newt Gingrich pays his fine or whatever. What's your take on it?
Well, I regard governments as sponsored entities. They are owned by the people who put up the money. It takes $100 million to run a campaign for president.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever wins is already in debt to multi-millionaires to start with. And so it's not who's the president that really matters. What matters is who has the money. That's really what controls the modern world.
That's right. I think Senate seats go for about 20 million on average. Also, there is a controversy going on now. This ought to be right down your alley. They just tested the gun that James Earl Ray supposedly used. And at best, it is inconclusive, or maybe it wasn't the gun. What do you think?
Well, I am very impressed by that, and I'm also impressed by the fact that every surviving member of the King family believes there was a conspiracy and that Ray was framed. If the whole Kennedy family came out with something like that, I'd be much more convinced there was a conspiracy in Dealey Plaza.
Mm.
I don't think the whole family can possibly have gone nuts all at once.
So you generally subscribe to the fact that he's rotting away in jail, soon to die, and then we'll simply never know. It'll be another one that goes in the files of never to be heard from again.
Maybe that'll happen, or maybe this will be the one that blows up the whole cover-up system, and a whole lot of the truth will start coming out.
Okay, back to the phones. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Robert Anton Wilson. Hi.
Hello, Mr. Bell and Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Hello.
Where are you, dear?
This is Chantel, and I'm calling from Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
And I'm an indulger in the universal joke. Mr. Wilson will know what I'm talking about there. My question is about the prayer design. Mr. Wilson, in your opinion, do you believe that the Saint Graal that they mention, and that's very important in their mythology, that the Templars were supposedly protecting, was the Saint Graal as in the Holy Grail, or is the Saint Graal as in the lineage of Jesus Christ, the Holy Blood?
I don't believe either. I think both of them are possible, but neither has been proven yet.
Well, that's kind of what I meant.
I think there are so many interesting theories about the priory that trying to choose between them is almost impossible because none of them have really strong evidence. They're all based mostly on bluff.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're trying to keep us interested, and I want to know why they want to keep us interested.
Well, yeah, it's. I've been studying them for a while, and it seems like they've suddenly popped up in sort of the underground mainstream, if you understand what I mean by that. They've been popping up all over the place, and the whole Arcadia ego is popping up everywhere. And like you said, I'm wondering why, if they are actually perpetrating that, or if someone else found it and is perpetrating it, or what. But I find the whole mythos really interesting, and I find your writing really interesting and really helpful, and it's at least making people start to ask questions, and I appreciate that a lot. And same goes to Mr. Bell.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. First-time caller line, your turn with Robert Anton Wilson. Hi.
Oh, hello there.
Hi.
Gosh, I'm glad to get through. I tell you, I never thought I'd make it.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
WOKV.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I wanted to ask about the Bob Dobbs book, Three-Fisted Tales of Bob, and how your guest got involved with that. I really loved his story, The Horror on House Hill. It was really funny and great, the whole thing.
Well, I've been involved with the Church of the Subgenius from the beginning. Ivan Stein claims Bob is based on me, but maybe he says that to every writer he knows named Bob.
Well, it's really great. I think you really fit in there. That's a great book. People out there should read it.
All right. Thanks
a lot.
Yep. Thank you very much for the call, and good morning, Wildcard Line. You're on the air with Robert Anton Wilson. Hi.
Hi, Mr. Wilson. I'd like to know a personal question, maybe. How do you select, and what do you select to read these days? Do you take a lot of newspapers, periodic? I guess you've read every book that was ever written, haven't you?
Absolutely not. Nobody can. I'm extraordinarily aware of my own ignorance. The amount of print and computer information available is so enormous, and the amount I've managed to get through is so tiny in comparison. That's why I so carefully avoid making dogmatic statements. I'm aware that something that completely disproves everything I'm saying may be in print somewhere, but I just haven't found it yet.
Yeah. When you go into a bookstore and at random pick things up, or I'd just like to know how you're so well read, and what advice you might have to those of us who are retired for reading.
All right. Yeah. Personal preferences. What do you like?
I trust what Arthur Koestler called the ghost in the library. You get certain hunches that now's the time to go into a bookstore, and you go in and you see a book that right away attracts your attention. So I buy it. This is believing that the unconscious knows more than the conscious and trusting it. Mm-hmm. And, of course, there are lots of subjects I'm interested in, so I keep looking for new books on those subjects. Now, I'm reading less books these days because I'm spending more time looking through the World Wide Web. You can find almost everything on the web that you want to know.
Yeah, I was wondering out loud the other day what this is going to do to, the old encyclopedia salesperson. Remember them?
Oh yeah, I was one once.
Were you?
I think you can find things on the web much faster than you can in an ordinary encyclopedia.
By the way, somewhere here I've got it. I've got your zip code. But you know what? I lost it. I was going to surprise you and give. We've got a link up on our site right now. To your site, so anybody who wants to know more about you can jump up there. And
well, that'll give them the zip code number.
Yeah, that's actually where I got it. Damn, I lose things all the time. I'm convinced there's like a land of the lost where everything that's been lost, pens and stuff that you'll never find again, it's all in the land of the lost. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Robert Anton Wilson. Hello.
Hi, Art.
Where are you?
This is Andrew in Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
All right.
I was wondering if Mr. Wilson had any comments on the new movie coming out, Conspiracy Theory, and if he had any other videos that he might recommend.
Okay.
I haven't seen. You mean the new movie with Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet, so I don't know.
I don't think it's out yet. I've just seen a couple previews for it.
Video? You mean videos in video stores that I'd recommend?
Yeah, anything that.
Yeah, Repo Man, Orson Welles' The Trial. The Meaning of Life by the Monty Python Group. There's three I'll recommend right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Meaning of Life. That's great. That's a great one. All right, west of the Rockies, you're on the air with Robert Anton Wilson. Good morning. Oops, you're a dial tone. You're not on the air. Wildcard line, you're on the air. Hi. Hello there.
Hello, Mr. Wilson and Art Bell.
Hello there.
It's exciting to talk to you. This is Dan in Lexington, Kentucky, listening to WLXG.
Yes.
And I've been an incredible fan of both of you for a long, long time.
Thank you.
Just would like to ask a couple of questions, if you don't mind, and I'll let you answer off air. First thing I'd like to ask is, do you believe that there is really a they, and if there is, who do you think they would be? And do you currently do any speaking events, and if so, where can I find a schedule so I might be able to contact you?
All right, that's good. First of all, who the hell are they?
Well, they are whoever you're afraid of, I guess. And if you're afraid of the Freemasons, they are the Freemasons. If you're afraid of politicians, they are the politicians. If you share my gloomy suspicions about bankers, they are the bankers. And the second question was...
about your speaking tours.
Yeah, it's on my website. You open to the first page of the website, and you find upcoming engagements, and it tells you all the places I'll be speaking for the rest of this year.
Oh, all right.
I'm doing a workshop in Minneapolis, in Duluth next week, and I'm doing a workshop in San Francisco in August, and so on. It takes you right up to November. I don't have any bookings in December yet.
Okay. All right. While we have you, east of the Rockies, you're on the air with Robert Anton Wilson. Hi.
Hi. I'm Hank in western Michigan.
Hi, Hank.
Hi, Hank.
Yeah, I would like to know if Mr. Anton Wilson has any comments about the Oriental Masonry and how it crept into Europe in the early part of 1930s and 1920s, and well, at around the turn of the century. Has he researched that?
No, this is the first I've heard of Oriental Masonry creeping into Europe. Masonry spread from Europe into the Orient is the way I know this, the way I think it went. So it came back again in a new form from the Orient. They changed it.
That's what he's suggesting.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but I'll start hunting for it.
I have a frequent guest, Richard Hoagland, who speaks about the face on Mars that you referred to earlier. And he is convinced that Masonry and ancient rituals connected to Egypt are driving our entire space program.
Yeah, I first encountered that theory from a guy named Downard back in the 70s. He had a complicated theory where the assassinations of John Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King were all connected with the first moon launch and with the 33rd degree of parallel and the 33rd degree of Masonry and all sorts of things like that. Well, this Downard was on that long before Hoagland. It's a very complicated theory. It's so complicated that I can't take it seriously.
Except that an awful lot of it does work. Now, and you've got to wonder whether they're dates put together, cobbled together to make it work, ignoring certain other ones, or whether it's a reality. It's probably ultimately right down your alley. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Robert Anton Wilson. Hi.
Well, hi. How you doing?
I'm doing.
Hey, I was calling in regards to finding out about some books that you have. Do you remember a while back when you had a show and you were talking about crop circles and the magnetic stuff that goes on with the molecular structure of the materials?
Yes.
Okay, how can I get a hold of that?
Well, I think some of the best writing is done by Linda Moulton Howe with regard to crop circles, so pick up one of her books. While we're on the subject, crop circles, pretty interesting stuff. Robert, do you have any views on it? They're increasing in numbers rapidly and have been since about 1990. A message from somebody or some sort of weird atmospheric something?
I'm not sure. For a while, I thought there was something really profound going on. Then about 9 different groups of people confessed how different tricks they had used to make different types of crop circles, and I got more suspicious. but it doesn't seem that hoaxes can explain all of them. They're all over the world, and they're coming faster and faster, so I'm back to just being puzzled again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me too. Increasing now in this country, as a matter of fact, rapidly. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Robert Anton Wilson. Hi.
Yes, I'd like to ask Mr. Wilson about the Tesla conspiracy.
The what?
Tesla conspiracy?
You mean when the
Nikolai
government...
Tesla?
When the government moved in after his death and took everything
and plus
away.
about him going to the forest, or the rainforest, supposedly, with a bunch of group of scientists.
Now, that one I don't know about.
I don't know about that either. I do know that Tesla made $1 million before he was 30, back in the days when $1 million was a hell of a lot of money. He was a very brilliant engineer, a very good technician. He had over 100 patents, and all of his later work was ignored. Nobody would finance it. And I think it was because, as he kept saying, it would make energy available to all at very cheap prices, practically nothing. And I think there are people who don't want energy available to the whole human race at low prices, practically nothing.
What are your views on money? You just mentioned money. Ted Turner once said something that's always stuck with me. He said, having this much money and this much success, he said, it's kind of an empty bag.
Oh, I don't know. I like money. I think money is wonderful stuff. I'd like to have bags and bags of it.
Lots of bags of it, huh? Well, do you?
Not quite.
Okay. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Robert Anton Wilson. Hi.
Hi, Art. I'd like to ask your guest, a conspiracy that I firmly believe is backed up with facts is that Pope John Paul I was murdered by members of the P2 to cover up a huge scandal that is still playing out involving the Vatican Bank. And I believe that the man was poisoned. The Vatican would not allow an autopsy on the body.
That's right.
And it was just so sudden, and
it's
they
true.
put out a series of false statements about the man's past health and all kinds of other things.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that. What about it, Robert?
Well, I'll tell you, I've read a lot about the P2 conspiracy. I believe that they used the Vatican Bank to launder drug money. I believe they had a loop between the Vatican Bank, Banco Ambrosiano, and the World Finance Corporation in Miami, which was connected to the CIA's drug and gun business down in Costa Rica. And I think they were into all sorts of illegal activities. Several of them have been convicted. A few of them died under mysterious circumstances while under indictment.
That's right.
I don't think the evidence that they killed the Pope is absolutely convincing, although it wouldn't surprise me if they did. They were quite capable of that.
All right. First-time caller line. You're on the air with Robert Anton Wilson. Hi. Hello there. Going once. Going twice. Gone. Wildcard line, you're on the air with Robert Anton Wilson. Hi.
Hello.
Hello there.
Yes. Is it possible that
turn your radio off, sir? You're confused. You're listening to your radio. Turn it off.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it possible now? You were going to say something. Is what possible? Hello.
Hello.
Well, he apparently has gone off to.
Sorry.
All right. Let's try it again.
Okay. I thought I was far enough away from it. Is it possible that by design, that if to conquer something is to divide it, that this democracy that we take as such a blessing is actually a means of keeping us divided and at each other's throats rather than united and empowered?
Well,
and secondly,
I don't think democracy was designed with that idea, but I do think that a lot of ideas that are widely spread in the media are intended to divide us.
And also, did I hear you mention Wilhelm Reich?
Yes, I mentioned him a while ago. I think Reich has never received a fair hearing from the scientific community.
I think The Murder of Christ by Wilhelm Reich is one of the most profound books I've read.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of his best.
Regarding martyrdom or smarterdom.
All right.
That's about it.
All right, that's it then. East of the Rockies, without much time, you're on there with Robert Anton Wilson. Hi.
Hi, I'm calling from Duluth.
Yes, sir.
And I guess I have a couple things. First of all, you mentioned you're coming to Duluth, and I'd like to know when and where.
From the 23rd to the 27th, I will be one of the speakers at the Neurolinguistic Programming Seminar at Black Bear Hotel, which is not in Duluth. It's outside Duluth.
No, I don't want to scare you about coming to Duluth, but Duluth has a celebrity curse. Elvis, Kennedy, the Edmund Fitzgerald sank after leaving Duluth. Buddy Holly died in a plane crash 3 days after leaving Duluth.
Well, maybe
kind of a strange thing, but
maybe you shouldn't be going to Duluth.
No, I've been there before and came back safely, so I'm not going to worry about it.
There you are, caller.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Robert, I could give you more time, but you probably want to get bed or something, huh?
Yeah, I guess I've done about enough for one night, but I hope we can do this again.
Oh, we can.
Oh, good, wonderful.
Listen, again, your book, the book you said you really want to plug is Illuminatus, right?
Yes, that's the easiest one for most people to find.
Walk into any bookstore, that kind of deal?
That's right, yes. And if they look at my website, they'll find a whole list of my books they can buy directly from me at a lower price than the bookstore prices.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do you ever autograph books for people?
Yes, sometimes.
Sometimes. All right, let's do it again sometime, my friend.
Okay, let's.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
See you later.
This.
Yeah, take care. Robert Anton Wilson, and there's a lot we didn't get to, so we will have him back, obviously. A lot of you wanted him on. You asked for it. You got it. Another person, I should tell you, tomorrow night, by the way, Daniel Brinkley, assuming he gets me his phone number. Daniel, you're supposed to be getting me that phone number if you're out there. Daniel Brinkley will be here, and he's really something. And let me tell you somebody I'm working on, actually, who wrote me a letter, and his name is Leonard Nimoy. So Leonard wrote me a letter. That was interesting, too, and he said, well, here's some stuff I've done, and I'd love to be on the show, love to talk to you, and then he forgot to give me a phone number. So I finally tracked that phone number down, and we're going to be lining up Leonard Nimoy for you shortly. That should be very interesting as well. So, there's a full moon out there tonight, you know. Have you seen it? There are always nights, good nights, to do open line talk radio. Robert Anton Wilson has set us up well. That's next. From the high desert, I'm Art Bell.
Art Bell is taking calls on the wildcard line at 702-727-1295. That's 702-727-1295. First-time callers can reach Art Bell at 702-727-1222. 702-727-1222. Now, here again, Art Bell.
Here I am. Last 2 hours spent with Robert Anton Wilson. That was fun. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll have him back again, of course. And as I said, tomorrow night, with luck and a good phone number, Daniel Brinkley will be here. Also arranging an interview with Leonard Nimoy, Star Trek's Mr. Spock, and a whole lot more. There's one talented guy. So, all of that is in the relatively immediate future, I think, and more. Someone writes the following to Mr. Bell. Was wondering when you're going to have Major Ed Dames on the show again. He said a little over a year ago that it would take a year before he could, quote, put his signature, end quote, on any reports of negative climactic changes. Well, it's been over a year, and I'm sure a lot of us are interested in hearing what he has to say about it. Ken from Southern California. Yeah, that's true. I might make a surprise call to Ed Dames. You never know, and get him on and see what he does have to say about that. Climactic changes seem to be underway right now. I could almost put my signature on it. We're about to enter the unknown land of weirdness and open phones. Or open phones and weirdness. They go together, especially with a full moon. All right, let's see what's in the news. The services for Gianni Versace are set for Friday, and he will be buried. They continue to seek actively Mr. Andrew Cunanan, who they believe is the serial killer that may have done him in. Officials said Friday Russia's troubled Mir space station has realigned itself, back in the sun again, lights on. Most systems reconnected. Systems crashed Thursday when a cable was accidentally unplugged. Must have been a very bad moment. House Speaker Newt Gingrich survived another challenge to his leadership with what appears to be a purge. The Republican Party skirmish claimed a rising young conservative, Bill Paxton. And apparently, the way I get this is Newt Gingrich thought Mr. Paxton was trying to do him in politically, and so instead Mr. Gingrich did him in. Interesting. The Florida Supreme Court ruled the case of a man dying of AIDS, in a case of this man dying of AIDS, upheld a state law that bans physician-assisted suicide, so they're saying no. That's a very interesting topic. I very much am opposed to suicide. I haven't felt that way all my life, but, for you, I'm not opposed to it. And by that I mean I would not begin to impose my moral beliefs or ethical beliefs, personal beliefs on you. I'm more of a libertarian. I wouldn't do it. I've got my own reasons why I wouldn't do it. But I think the government has no damn business passing laws and telling you what you can and can't do with your life. That's bull. There is a tropical storm named Danny hovering ominously now off the coast of Louisiana with about 60-mile-an-hour winds. Now, the problem here is that it's very warm water. And the sooner it gets on shore, the better, because if it sits out there over that warm water, it's going to build. And these are the really dangerous ones when they sit out there in the Gulf and just build and build and build, feeding on the warm water. And then in 24 hours or less, before you know it, you've got yourself a really serious storm. Anyway, that's a brief overlook at what's going on out there. If any of that interests you, you're welcome to comment on it. Short of that, anything goes. It's a full moon. We don't screen calls. So I have no idea what's coming up. Whatever you feel like talking about is fair game. Here we go. First time caller line, you're on the air.
Hello, Mr. Bell. I'm
Hello.
Patty calling from Vancouver, British Columbia.
Welcome to the program.
Why, thank you, sir. What do you know about witching for water? Have you ever heard of it?
I know quite a bit about it. I don't do it myself. My wife is a water witch, and she's a damn good one, too.
She uses the forked willow branch?
She uses, it doesn't really matter. That's just an implement. She, in the times I've seen her use it, she's used, coat hangers. It really doesn't matter. You can use anything. You can use a piece of wood. You can use whatever. I think the power emanates not from the implement, but from the person holding it.
Oh, okay. See, I saw it as a kid. I saw my father do it, and very successfully, but I believed at the time that it was the willow branch that was doing it, and not my dad.
No, it was your dad.
Okay, well, I have to say, I just started listening to your program, and I find it fascinating.
Well, it's a little different, isn't it?
And your topics are so varied.
They are. I wouldn't have it any other way. Otherwise, how could I do 5 hours? It would be boring. I couldn't sit here and talk about the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. That's right. It'd be so boring, wouldn't it, talking about the same thing every night? I just couldn't do it, so I don't. Where is some rule written down in talk radio that you will discuss the following thing for 3 to 5 hours every night? You will inject the latest political conspiracy to discuss. You will talk of Newt Gingrich's fine or how he just had a purge and got rid of somebody who might have been trying to get rid of him. And, that's okay to talk about, but not for 5 hours every night. There's more to life. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Mr. Bell, my name is Tracy, and I'm calling from Shenandoah Valley, Virginia.
Yes, sir. Hi, how you doing, Tracy?
Pretty good. And I listened the other night when you had the vampires calling in, and I figured since it was a full moon, if there are any werewolves out there, I'd like to hear them call in, see what's going on.
It's a lot easier to get vampires than it is werewolves. Werewolves are rather... You've got a terrible portable phone, don't you?
Oh, my. Well, I hope it's not making any noise for you.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Things ought to be put in trash compactors and destroyed collectively.
Also, I'd like to say I called Golden Eagle Food Storage the other day about my 1-year supply. And they told me that you tried their product and was very satisfied with it. And
well, there's no question about it.
I thought that was nice that you actually try the product before you endorse it.
I don't. That's right. I mean, short of some medical products for which I don't have the problem, so I can't be a judge, and there I use people's testimonials. Short of that, I try everything before I advertise it. What the audience doesn't know is how much I reject. My network knows about that. They hate that. But I mean, you know, I'm the one who's got to sit out here and say, this is a good product, buy it, and I don't want to be lying.
Well, I would imagine there are a lot of talk show hosts or just radio stations in general, as long as they get their money for endorsing the product, they're satisfied.
Yeah, I know.
It was refreshing to see that someone actually does try it out.
I wouldn't do it any other way.
And also, I appreciate the way that you take on things that other people are kind of afraid and stay away from. And
I know. It's getting to the point where I'm too old to care anymore.
Okay, well, I thought the vampire thing was so interesting, I thought maybe we could get some werewolves to call in.
Werewolves are hard, but I'm willing to try it.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Werewolves are hard. Now, vampires are easier. Why would that be? Werewolves may be... any werewolves out there? I would like to interview a werewolf. I've interviewed quite a number of vampires, but I think never a werewolf. Which could be also construed to be a shapeshifter, huh? East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hello. Is this Art Bell?
It is.
Yes.
And who would this be?
This would be Philip from Granger, Texas.
Granger, Texas. And where is Granger, Texas, pray tell?
That would be, I think, east of Colorado. Around Texas. Central Texas.
Central Texas. Yes. When you said Colorado, you meant Colorado, Texas?
No. Granger, Texas.
Okay, well, I'm confused. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You're down there somewhere. How you doing?
Good. I'd like to know, what's her name? Evelyn Paglinsky? Paglini.
Yes, my witch.
Yes, that was one of your best shows.
You like that, huh?
Yes.
You should see the reaction I got to that.
Oh, I see.
I'm a blasphemer. I'm going to burn in hell. And so is she.
I see.
You can imagine that, can't you?
Yes.
As a reaction. But you know what?
Yes?
I don't care. I wanted to interview her, and so I did.
Well, that was one of your best shows.
Well, that's one reaction. I appreciate that, but some of the other reactions, as you might imagine, were horrific. People were horrified. How can you talk about witchcraft on the air? What's the matter with you? Don't you understand what's going to happen to your soul? You're going to burn. I don't think so. I really don't think so. See, that's my personal belief system. I don't think so. I don't think exploration of ideas, belief systems, magic, whatever odd subject you might get onto is going to cause one to burn in hell. Not the God I know anyway. But see, he might be a different God than the one you know. The God I know, he just doesn't do things like that. He allows intellectual exploration without the threat of blue flame on your soul. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Well, hi. How you doing there?
No, I'm doing.
I got through there.
Where are you?
I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Anyway, I wanted to ask you, I want to change the subject here a little bit.
All right.
A while back you were talking about crop circles and stuff like that and magnetics and stuff like that were found in the materials of the like vegetation and stuff like that.
Right.
The molecular structure was changed and all
Correct.
that. Okay.
What they determined with regard to crop circles
Mm-hmm.
was that there were molecular changes similar to, but not quite consistent with, the molecular change you would get if you took some of those crops and put them in a microwave oven.
Oh, really?
That's the closest they can get to it. It's not quite the same. The molecular change is different from that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you get that kind of change from a couple of guys with boards and chains.
No. Well, what about this? What about if they took like a magnetic type field, changed the frequency on it, and then did a bunch of things with it, and like made a disc that was the same type of deal, like magnetics or something like that, and stacked them all up, and then rotated them.
I don't know. What if they did? I'm not sure what you're saying exactly.
Well, it would cause some kind of a magnetic type situation to happen, and it run at a different frequency, really extremely high frequency. I would assume it would cause something like that. Have you heard anything about that? I remember someone was talking about that.
No, I think you need to refine your theory a little.
Okay. Well,
I mean, it's certainly an electromagnetic effect may be taking place, but who knows what it's from or where it's from or how it's done? We don't know any of that.
Okay. Well, didn't somebody got the idea or something like that, and didn't somebody go ahead and do something like that and spun it, put some discs on top of each other and spun them with like a electrical motor or something like that, and it did.
Okay, you're talking about.
things.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you very much. You're talking about Doug Ruby, and what Doug did was he wrote a book called The Gift, and we interviewed him the other night. In fact, twice now. Last time along with Linda Moulton Howe, and he spun crop circles, or the image of crop circles, to obtain a three-dimensional depiction of. Well, actually, a ship. And he thinks the more complicated crop circles, the ones popping up now, are basically designs for the system to drive that ship. And if you will look at the latest crop circle that I put up on the site, I scanned some pictures and put it up on the site. You will see very clearly that what we've got appearing now here in America is very much like what appeared beginning in 89 or 90 in England, the very simplistic circles that would seem to be what Doug Ruby defines as the beginning of the learning process, or in other words, how you would, for example, teach an animal to begin responding. A dolphin was the animal he referred to. You would begin giving it simple hand signals until a line of communication was established. And then, of course, once you had that, you could refine it and you could enlarge on it until you finally have a full dolphin show, all based on hand signals. In other words, you have established communication, and Doug Ruby believes that these simplistic crop circles are the beginning of an effort to establish communication, and it makes a very, very great deal of sense. And I am very much looking forward to Doug Ruby getting together with Linda Moulton Howe to see what comes of all of that. And I suspect it will, because it's one of those things that's very, very difficult to put into words. You're talking about a three-dimensional visualization, and you're trying to put it into words that will sink in on the radio. That's hard to do. In fact, very difficult to do, but somehow he managed. And I'm looking forward to the result of that meeting, which I anticipate to occur soon. Again, tomorrow night, if we get the number, Dannion Brinkley. Coming soon, Leonard Nimoy. Star Trek's Leonard Nimoy. Actually, he's done so very much more, but I guess to me and to many of you, he will forever be Mr. Spock. Mooney. I'm Art Bell from the High Desert. This is CBC. love-hate relationship with computers. Right now, I love them, by the way. Mine are all operating fine. I had my last struggle, you may recall, I don't know, about a week ago, week and a half ago. And I am always of the view that I will either make it work or break it beyond all recognition. And I've done that any number of times. And so I appreciate the following Associated Press story. This comes from Issaquah, Washington. Hope I'm pronouncing that. Issaquah, Washington, is that correct? Associated Press. A 43-year-old man was coaxed out of his home by police after he pulled a gun on his personal computer and shot it several times, apparently in frustration. Police Sergeant Keith Moon said Thursday, quote, "We don't know if it wouldn't boot up or what," end quote. The computer in a home office on the second floor of the townhouse had 4 bullet holes in the hard drive and 1 in the monitor, according to Moon, policeman. 1 bullet struck a filing cabinet, while another made it through a wall and into a neighboring unit. Nobody was injured but the computer. Police had to evacuate the entire complex after 8 o'clock while they contacted the man by telephone. He eventually agreed to discard the weapon and meet officers outside the building. They additionally confiscated 3 guns and a knife, but the computer, without question, is dead as a doornail. And the man has been taken to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle for a mental evaluation. But I suspect he's sane. I think he's probably sane. There have been moments when I've almost shot my computer. I've always held off from it. You know, in my younger days, I would have shot my computer. Now I've developed more patience and respect for hardware. And I understand that, but I also understand that level of frustration. I mean, there you are, and you have some horrendous Windows 95 related problem that won't go away. And you work on it for days, and soon you're losing sleep. And common sense begins to slip. And you begin to view the machine as an intellectual challenge, and soon an intellectual enemy. And I can understand that you would snap, draw a large caliber revolver, and simply put it, and in effect yourself at the same time, out of pain. He did get 4 slugs into the hard drive, which is, I guess, the equivalent of shooting it through the heart. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Art. It's Marianne in Clear Lake.
Hi, Marianne.
Hi. I wanted to say something to you, and then when I'm finished, I wanted to ask you a question about the Internet.
Okay.
When you were getting upset a while back about, and talking about vengeance, and every night you'd come on and say, that you wanted to get even and all that.
Yep.
And then last night, and one time during that time, you were saying that you said you would always be that way, which I looked at the radio and I said, I hope not. But last night when you were asking, was her name Evelyn?
Yes.
And when you were asking Evelyn
Paglini, yes,
about this situation, I completely disagree with the advice she gave you, so I'd just like to express that to you.
What do you disagree with?
Well, even though she knows what it is and I don't, it was obvious you were upset about something during that time, and it doesn't really matter what it is. The fact that you would like to get even with this person, to me, it's kind of putting you to their level, and
I don't care.
I know you don't.
I don't care. I believe in revenge.
I know,
do unto me, and brother, I'm going to do unto you. You better get out of the way, because I'm going to come after you, and I'm going to keep coming after you until I get you. That's my attitude. I know it's not Christian.
But I mean, I'm caring about you feeling that way.
I understand.
You've changed and grown so much in the last couple of years. You're real different than you used to be, and it's nice to to see that and to experience that on the radio, especially of a male. And you know, there's different conditionings we go through in life. Some are the same, some are female, some are male. In my feeling, the male conditioning is just what you're saying. It's a heavy-duty male conditioning to get even. And as all I'm saying is, you need to let go of it. If you can find some way within your heart.
Not a chance.
Oh, dear. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm glad I at least said that to you.
Okay.
My question is, I've been trying to move from California to New Mexico for 2 years, and my house doesn't sell, and hardly anybody's looking at houses. How can you tell me who I would call or steer me some way to, I don't have a computer, but how do you put a house for sale onto the Internet?
Well, knowing the Internet, there's plenty of places, but if you say you're not on the Internet now?
No, I don't have a computer or any of that.
Well, go to a friend who has one. I've not investigated the real estate market on the Internet, but there surely is one.
Okay.
And if you just find a friend who's got a computer that works, I'm sure you'll be able to list it that way. And the Internet, of course, offers all kinds of unique opportunities because you can take a picture or pictures of your home and have those on the Internet.
But if somebody isn't a famous person and they're just a regular person out here and they have a computer and they're on the Internet, how will people know to go to look on their page for somebody listing a house that's just on their page or whatever? Well,
if you're looking for a house and you're on the Internet, then you're going to go to locations where such things are advertised.
Okay.
So I can't answer the question specifically because I've never been to such a site, but I can assure you they exist. And if you find a friend with a computer, you'll find it.
Okay. Thank you,
All right.
Art.
Take care. Yeah, sure. The Internet has unlimited absolutely unlimited possibilities commercially and non-commercially, and that would be one area because you could put photographs of what you're selling up there, and I'm sure there are lots and lots of sites like that. I was wondering earlier with Robert Anton Wilson about the Internet itself. It's really intriguing to watch it and see where it's going. And, of course, we're right in the middle of that technology, and so it's kind of exciting to be part of it. You might take a look at my website. It's one of the better ones, actually, on the web, and that's no thanks to me. That's Keith Rowland, who's done it. It's a magnificent site. It's gigantic. It's almost like an Internet within an Internet. In fact, we've got what's called a search engine within our website. So you can go in there and put a word in. It will take you to the appropriate place. Whatever you're searching for. And my website address is www.artbell.com. Something I meant to do yesterday, I mentioned this. I had somebody sent me a T-shirt with it says www.getalife.com, and then somebody wrote me and said there's actually such a site as www.getalife.com, and I meant to take a look at it today to see what it was. Maybe after I said it or wore that T-shirt, they formed it. Who knows? Or maybe it was already there. First-time caller line, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi. My name's Mike. I'm in the wine country in Northern California.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, I just wanted to call. I wanted to say that show you did last night with Dr. Peglini.
Yes.
That was so cool. It was excellent.
Well, that's one reaction. As I said, I'm getting many.
Yeah. Well,
Mike, do me a favor and extinguish your radio, please.
Yes, sir. There it goes.
Really important to do that.
I wanted to ask you a question. Oops.
That's a portable phoneness.
Yeah, and it's not a VTech.
Obviously.
No, I wanted to ask you a question about, it was months ago with Major Ed Dames.
Yes.
And he had that deal with the remote viewing tapes, the correspondence thing or whatever.
Yes.
And I was wondering if anyone had gotten those and if they worked or...
Yeah, I've got it.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, so I guess they shipped out. I've got mine. But he sent me, he did, it's funny you should mention that. They're shrink wrapped, you get a video cassette and you have a cover for it, and then you get shrink wrap over it, right?
Right.
And on the shrink wrap, he wrote to Art Bell, number one of X number of thousands. Right? Number one. I got number one.
How about that?
And so I'll be damned if I'm going to wrap. I'm not going to take the shrink wrap off it. Now, he should have written that, obviously, inside before he shrink wrapped it, and so now it's a historic item, and I don't want to take the shrink wrap off.
So
all right?
You couldn't tell me, huh?
Yeah, so I don't know what to do about that. It's a problem.
Quite a dilemma.
Yeah, it is a dilemma. Thank you very much. I don't know what to do about that. Number one, it's historic. And I'm dying to see it. But I don't want to take the shrink wrap off. It's a real problem. Wow, Wildcard Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Yeah, this is Paula in Kansas City.
Hi there.
And I've been really fascinated by the time travelers, and I ordered David Oates' reversing machine so I could tell which ones were telling the truth. I've got all of them on tape from...
And what have you discerned?
Well, I haven't got the machine yet. I should get it by next week. They kind of got back-ordered a little bit.
I imagine.
I've been waiting every day to get it, and I will let you know I got the ones from June 14th and the ones from the day before yesterday. I think you had them on. I also wanted to suggest that it would be fun to have an alien line one night, so like extraterrestrial aliens.
I've done that many times.
Oh, have you?
Oh,
have any called in?
There are so many aliens out there.
And they have called in?
Oh.
Okay, well, the other thing I wanted to say about David Oates is I think it would be great if everybody just flooded the Boulder Police Department with requests that they get him on the case, because if they did, it would get into the major media about reverse speech, and then maybe they'd have, like on CNN,
the Ramsey. You're talking about the Ramsey case, right?
Right. I mean, because that would get everyone's attention to reverse speech, like springboard it into the major media's attention. If they brought David Oates in to review the tapes, and, you know, they report everybody that get on the case, like Dr. Henry Lee and all that.
Sure.
If they brought David Oates in, people like Greta Van Susteren would be saying, well, what is this reverse speech? And then he'd be interviewed on...
Before they would ever do it, though, on a high-profile case like that, or any high-profile case, I mean, look, for example, at lie detectors. Still not admissible, basically, in court. And they've been around for how many years now? Years and years and years and years, and still not admissible. So
whether it was admissible or not, they could still go through the tapes to look for clues, and then also it is speech. So if they would get like other scientists to say, like Richard Hoagland said it was scientific, he's a scientist, and maybe run it by Dr. Henry Lee, and see if they could get it admitted to let the jury decide if what they said in reverse, you know, what weight did they want to give to that.
But see, there you are again. Thank you. It would not be admissible. So you can't let the jury decide anything because it's not admissible as evidence. So you couldn't bring it in the courtroom. You couldn't present it to the jury. You couldn't let them. It's just like a lie detector. The results of that are not allowed to be brought into the court and presented to a jury. So, as much as I do believe there is certainly something to reverse speech, I definitely believe that. I think that it's got a long way to go before you're going to see it used in a courtroom. Maybe never. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, I'd like to talk to Art Bell.
All right. Well, the number one requirement is to turn your radio off.
Oh, sure, I have that off right now.
Oh, that's good. Number two, tell us where you are.
I'm from La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Okay. Well, you've got me, so go ahead.
I've got you. I don't have Art Bell.
Yes, you do.
Oh, you're Art Bell?
Yes, I am.
Well, hi, Art Bell.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
Yeah, I was wondering about your books.
Yes?
Yeah, I was wondering about, I've listened to you on and off, maybe, 2 or 3 years.
Yes?
And I don't know anything about you, but I don't know what could you possibly, what could I possibly want to buy your first book for?
Well, you just answered your own question. You don't know anything about me, you said.
Yeah, I know, and that's
okay.
what I'm
my
trying
first
to find out.
my first
that's
book.
What I'm trying to find out. I've never heard you talk about yourself at all.
My first book is all about me.
And what is it about? A talk show host?
Yeah, it's called The Art of Talk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Tom Likas?
Likas.
Tom Likas.
Do you say Tom?
Yeah, Tom.
His first
Likas.
name is Tom Likas.
Yeah, I talked to him. I called him up. He's on Sundays here in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
He's on Sundays? Oh, is he a preacher?
No. He talks about a lot of different things.
He does?
Yeah, and he told me to give you a message, and
what's the message?
The message was that he told me to tell you that the moon is made of green cheese, and he was wondering if I was wondering if you would be able to debate him. He said he would debate you anytime.
I did debate him once in Sacramento.
Oh, really?
And I ate his lunch.
You're full of jokes, aren't you?
It was easy.
Hey, there's one thing I don't like about you at all. My mom, you know that arthritis commercial?
There's a few things I actually don't like about
myself. That arthritis commercial that you talk about that rebuilds cartilage?
Cartilage, yes.
Well, if that was the truth, I'm telling you, my mom suffered for 20 years. I have 2 sisters that are also suffering from it. And if you can find a pill that will rebuild cartilage, that would be nationwide.
It is. It was reported in the New York Times.
Well, I'm telling you one thing. I'm going to call the Better Business Bureau and the FDA and find out. And I'm telling you one thing. You better not advertise it because I'm going to find out about it. Goodbye.
That's it, huh? Well, tell Tom I said his comment was cheesy. And as for you, I advise you to look into that arthritis assist formula, chondroitin, as one of the ingredients. And it's the New York Times that reported the breakthrough that allows the regrowth or the assistance of regrowth of cartilage. So instead of contacting the agencies you talked about, you ought to really look into it if you really are sincere about helping your family, which I sincerely doubt. Yeah, like his Sundays, huh? Yes, I think he's a preacher. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Oh, I just want to make mention of the. I don't know if you ever see it last night. The shuttle coming in.
I did not see it last night. Of course, I saw the photographs of the shuttle landing, but I didn't see it come in. What time did it come in?
Well, I'm in Paris, Texas.
Oh.
And it was about 5:40, 5:35. It was overhead, and it covered.
Oh man!
The first time I'd ever seen it. It was beautiful.
Oh, it's astounding! I wish somebody had called me. Doggone it!
I didn't know what it was at first until I'd heard on another station after you'd gone off the air. They mentioned seeing it. I thought that's what it was.
Yep. I've seen it once, and it was the most astounding thing I ever saw in my life. I'm sorry I missed it. Darn. You see, when it's early morning like that and the sun gets a chance to reflect on it, you really get quite a show. Listen, I'm top of the hour and I've got to go, so I appreciate it, but yeah, it's quite a for you. How many of you know what remote viewing is? Hold up your hands. Oh, I can't see. Remote viewing is the ability of a disciplined psychic to see things at a remote location. In this time frame, or forward or reverse in time. It is a disciplined psychic. I guess that'd be the best way to put it. For 20 years, the U.S. government funded a remote viewing program, and I personally think they still are. But for 20 years they did. Nightline did a 30-minute program on it one night. And I have had as a guest in the past